Husky Mag is next, right here on UTVS.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Husky Mag. I'm Sam Sharp.
And I'm Bobby Bullock. Thanks so much for joining us for the 4th edition of Husky Mag this season. Well, Sam, a lot of sports were played in the past weekend, but not a whole lot of luck in the Huskies' favor.
Yeah, not a whole lot of luck on either side for the Huskies in the football game against BSU.
Yeah, Sam, it's been an up and down battle for the SDSU football team this season as they headed up to Bemidji State on Saturday. Quarterback Jordan Hine rushed in the first touchdown for Bemidji as they took an early lead. Hine finds teammate Jawan Richard in the end zone to bring the Beavers to 14. Hine again passes the ball off as Ty Nomain finds the end zone for the third time. Hine carried the team with over 430 total offense to finish out the day. While Huskies tried to hold on in the ending minutes of the game, Bemidji blocks the extra point to end the Huskies' quest for a victory in the matchup. Jamison Parsons adds over 100 receiving yards for the 5th time in 6 games. Sam, the Huskies do return home though this Saturday on Halloween, and time is set for 1 p.m.
Yeah, Bobby, with St. Cloud State sitting comfortably in the 4th spot in the NSIC and Duluth and Bemidji in the top 2 with an impressive 5-game winning streak each, St. Cloud will need to defend themselves in the NSIC, especially with their game coming up on Halloween against Moorhead, who is right on the Huskies' heels, sitting in the 5th spot in the NSIC.
Well, Jamison Parsons continues to tear it up on the field. The former quarterback turned wide receiver who has the 3rd most receiving yards of anybody in Division II football. Kirsten Call has more.
Get that defense jump, fakes the handoff, looks downfield, launches it downfield to Parsons, who's wide open and tiptoes it.
Jamison Parsons' teammates and coaching staff knew he had the ability to make the transition from quarterback to wide receiver, but no one knew going into this season just how successful that transition would be.
Not a lot of people get this opportunity to play this game, and so I take it to heart and take every day, each day at a time.
I think we all expected him to do really well because we knew he was one of the best athletes on our team and one of the hardest workers. So I think a lot of people expect him to do well, but not lead the conference in receivings.
Parsons was ranked 4th in the nation in total receiving yards prior to the game versus Minot State, and this week he moved up 1 spot to 3rd in the nation for total receiving yards.
Jamison's a very talented athlete, and we knew we wanted to get him on the field someplace from the transition at quarterback, and he's really worked hard at the craft. It's not an easy transition, and you have an idea offensively where guys are going to be, but you still have to work in one-on-one space against the defenders and kind of know the moves and things that you have to do. But if you watch him, he's one of the better all-around athletes we have on our team.
I think we felt he would be athletic enough and he could do all the things, but you don't know that learning curve, how long it's going to take for somebody to get there. Last spring, it was a struggle for him that first spring. This fall, we felt really good. Fall camp, he had a great fall camp. We felt good going into the season, and we've seen a lot of people who have tried to play us in man coverage, and frankly, there isn't many guys in our league that can cover Jamison in those kind of situations one-on-one.
Jamison Parsons has made his skill very evident this season as he continues to shine on the field.
Parsons has had an incredible season making that transition from backup quarterback to wide receiver and has piled up a total of 915 total receiving yards in his career. This week, we'll see if Parsons' receiving yards will jump him into the number 2 spot in the nation.
Well, after another tough loss, the Huskies are now 4-4 on the year. Alex Curtis has more down on the field. Alex?
Thanks, guys. Alex Curtis here with Dante Smith, the voice of the St. Cloud State Huskies on KVSC 88.1 FM. How you doing, Dante?
Pretty good. With an intro like that, even better. How you doing today, Alex?
I'm not too bad. Now, St. Cloud State coming off another close loss at Bemidji State. 3 of their 4 losses now by a possession or less.
And it's a tough early stretch there. Those 3 games all close, but one big thing that's been a part of every single one of them, turnovers. Especially this last game, 5 turnovers in that Bemidji State game, and it's been brutal for the Huskies.
4 fumbles as well as an interception, and to really cap it off, that muffed punt at the end by Jaden Huff. He put the ball on the ground 3 times. You can't have that.
You got to put all the phases together, and I thought at times we played better, certainly offensively and defensively. The big problem was the turnovers. The 5 turnovers were very costly to us, and I think 3 of those at least were inside the 30-yard line. So you had opportunities to put points on the board. We're driving the ball with, I wouldn't say ease, but putting it down in the places where you get opportunities, and then to lose it, it sets us back in a whole different mindset.
Hopefully you take something from each instance, and last week it was turnovers. Duluth, it was probably turnovers. The Southwest game was execution. We were really poor as far as we had too many penalties, procedural things, and we've kind of fixed those since then. So hopefully we've learned from that, and that hasn't been an issue. Saturday's loss, we just flat, you can't put the ball on the ground. I mean, we were a better football team, but you can't turn the ball over 5 times and expect to win. So I think you have to, each situation's its own game, and you have to hopefully learn from that and put that into the games that we have remaining.
Especially special teams always playing that third team factor, and it even reared its ugly head last Saturday.
It's been one of the issues for the Huskies, is a lot of special teams miscues really throughout the year.
Yeah, it's a really tough game here because special teams, it's usually that underrated factor. You never talk about it too much, but if you do talk about it, know it's always a boo-boo when it comes out. So right now, the Huskies struggling on special teams, they can always turn it around, though, with some strong, sure-headed play.
Now, one strong point for the Huskies been that running game, as well as Jamison Parsons, 3rd in the country in receiving.
And I can't say enough about Jamison Parsons and his transition from quarterback to wide receiver this year.
If you would have told me that coming into this year, Jamison Parsons would not only switch from quarterback to wide receiver, be 3rd in the country in receiving yards, as well as be leading the conference in receiving, I would have told you were crazy.
That's just the crazy part about it. Not just his play, but his overall amazing rapport with quarterback Nate Meyer. It's like they've been together for years. I mean, right now, Jamison Parsons has that ability to find the soft spot in coverage, and he takes apart every defense he finds, no matter how he's game planned against.
I think we felt he would be athletic enough and he could do all the things, but you don't know that learning curve, how long it's going to take for somebody to get there. Last spring, it was a struggle for him that first spring. This fall, we felt really good. Fall camp, he had a great fall camp. We felt good going into the season, and we've seen a lot of people who have tried to play us in man coverage, and frankly, there isn't many guys in our league that can cover Jamison in those kind of situations one-on-one.
A little bit of a look at Moorhead. They came in, they won their first 3 games of the year, then dropped 4 straight, and then there might have been an injury that was involved there?
Might have been. There was, and one that really hurt the team. Star wide receiver Adam Gistry. He was leading the team in both receptions and touchdowns before he was injured, and it's one that the team hasn't really been able to recover well from.
And it might help that Huskies secondary that's been kind of getting picked on a little bit in almost all the games. Definitely, they might have an easier shot there.
They do. However, one thing this Dragons offense leans on particular is the run. They had 53 rushing attempts last game. They have a dual threat quarterback in Demetrius Carr. Really strong on the run game, 200 yards on the season for him. So that's a real threat for the Huskies defense.
I think we're going to have to throw the ball some. They make it hard to just line up and run. They're giving up a bunch of yards rushing, but they've all been kind of long, big, explosive running plays because they put a lot of guys down in the box. So, I think we're going to have Jamison, especially Jamison and Grant, and, in our slots, Kasai and Vance have played better. We're going to have to get those guys involved early to make them respect that, and then go back to running the ball. But you always have to run the ball and have to try to have some success of running the ball for the most part.
But also, the Huskies have a dual threat of their own in the deceptively quick Nate Meyer. You never know when he's going to pull the ball, but when he does, special things happen.
Exactly, and he always tends to catch the defense off guard. No one's ever quite ready for it. You said deceptive speed. That's the perfect way to put it. I mean, he's really able to get the ball down, make the smart plays when he needs to.
Very, very shifty. Now the Huskies will take on Moorhead here at Husky Stadium at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Husky Productions will have the coverage, as well as 88.1 FM. If you are unable to turn into the TV, listen to that guy as well as Ryan Sanders. Thanks for joining me, Dante.
Thank you, Alex.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Alex. With the upcoming Halloween game against Moorhead out of the way, the Huskies will have to look ahead to their next big game against rival Northern State, who will be giving their all to fight back the Hungry Huskies from taking their spot, who are just ahead of the Huskies in the 3rd spot. The St. Cloud Huskies versus Northern State game is slated for the 7th of November at 1 p.m. at the Husky Stadium.
Well, like I said, Sam, Halloween is this Saturday, which unfortunately means winter is coming.
Well, with winter also comes ice, which means hockey season will be back in full swing.
And with hockey comes a lot of Husky hockey. We'll be right back with your winter sports preview right.
Back-to-back-to-back shutouts is exactly what Junior Huskies goalkeeper Charlie Lindgren did to earn NCAA Division I Men's Hockey #1 Star of the Week. Lindgren combined for a total of 54 saves in 2 games against Mankato, and he also set a new team record for 3 consecutive shutouts with 3 consecutive starts. But giving him a run for his money and stardom is Quinnipiac goalie Michael Gartig, going into the Quinnipiac games on Friday and Saturday. The 2 goalies, Lindgren and Gartig, were neck and neck for stats, with both goalies having 3 back-to-back shutouts and 100% save rates while starting each game. The games on Friday and Saturday would determine what goalie would gain or what goalie would fall in their stats.
Yeah, emotions were running pretty high Friday night as SESU and Quinnipiac went into the matchup both undefeated, but one of the teams would have to end their perfect streak. The SESU men's hockey team came out hot right away with a shorthanded goal by Judd Peterson, his 2nd shorthanded goal of the year. Peterson netted another goal later in the game to pass his goal total already from last year, as Quinnipiac went on a 5-0 run with Travis St. Dennis of the Bobcats scoring 2 goals in the 2nd period. Quinnipiac would get a free penalty shot late in the 2nd when SESU Joey Bennett tripped Devon Tays to give Tays an opportunity to score against Lindgren. But could he do it? No, Lindgren comes out with another save for the Huskies. Quinnipiac rebounded quickly though, making it a 4-2 with a goal by Scott Davidson, while teammate KJ Tinfinworth finished off the game, netting a final goal to give the Huskies their first loss of the season. The game with the final score is 5-2. Charlie Lindgren went into this game with 3 straight shutouts, but couldn't quite get the 4th. Lindgren ended the game with 35 saves for the Huskies.
Yeah, and trying to bounce back from the upsetting Friday night game for the Huskies, they were looking for a better Saturday game. And starting it off for Quinnipiac, Derek Smith fired it back to where it came from, and St. Dennis buried right past Lindgren to get one on the board for Quinnipiac. And they strike again as Soren Johnson slap-shotted it to light the lamp again for the Bobcats. But then it was the Huskies' turn as big ol' 6'7" Ben Storm comes flying in off the rebound and gets one for the Huskies. But the Bobcats aren't finished, and Tommy Schutt picks one up from Soren Johnson as Schutt challenges Lindgren and nets another one for the game winner. The Huskies were unable to get a W on Saturday as well, with a final score of Quinnipiac 4 and St. Cloud 1.
Well, Sam, it looks like St. Cloud and Quinnipiac swap spots in the USCHO.com poll for this week, which places St. Cloud in the number 14 spot overall.
Yeah, this season is still early on though, and they haven't played any of the top 10 teams besides Quinnipiac, so I think it's a little too early to make any judgments on where they might stand overall in the USCHO poll.
You know, Sam, I think you're right. They just need to keep playing some Husky hockey and taking one game at a time. Judd Peterson, though, continues to light it up on the ice this season, scoring 5 times with 1 assist. Peterson has already surpassed his total number of goals from all of last season. Heading into this weekend, I'm sure he plans to keep things rolling as the 13th-ranked Huskies take on the 14th-ranked Miami University. This Huskies would love for his hot streak to continue as they look to bounce back after a tough weekend in Connecticut.
Another Husky who is having a hot start to his season is senior forward David Morley. Morley has 2 goals and 2 assists on the season, and the Husky score stands by with Joseph Scarella and Cal Rassman down at the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center.
We're down here at Herb Brooks National Hockey Center with David Morley. David, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you doing?
Pretty good. Just wanted to talk to you, ask you a few questions.
You've noticed you've had a lot of success. Most of your goals are either in the crease or right around the crease. What do you think? What do you contribute that to?
Well, I think a lot of it just has to do getting to the net. That's obviously where the puck's going to end up, and just trying to pick up rebounds and get lost behind coverage is really the best way I'm going to score. Is Obviously, the puck's going to end up there at some point or another, so just going there, and it's a lot of lucky bounces for the most part, and just being in the right place at the right time.
And do you think that catching and elevating the puck is a big thing in front of the net there?
Yeah, I think for the most part, sometimes these goalies are getting so good at getting the bottom of the ice covered. Charlie on our team does a great job of that, getting his feet across, so you really got to make sure you get the puck up at least the height of his pad, because a lot of times they can't get all the way over, but they can get their legs extended. So just being able to chip it up over his leg is usually crucial when you don't have much time and other guys coming to get you. So that is an important part for sure.
Do you mind if you give a little demonstration of that? We'll kind of give you a few passes there.
Sure.
Right. So as you can see, catching and elevating the puck right up by the crease is very important. Do you think that coming into NCHC play, you'll be able to find some opportunities down there?
I sure hope so. Like you guys said, that's how I score a lot of my goals, so I'll make sure to just float around the crease, and hopefully one of my teammates can snap a puck in there and I can pick up some loose change. But yeah, we're excited for the weekend. It should be fun.
And coming up against Miami, what do you guys expect here?
Well, it'll probably be a little bit different than last weekend. Miami plays much faster, a lot of run and gun type style, a lot of transition hockey, which is similar to us. So we're expecting a fast weekend, a lot of skill, a lot of plays to be made, and hopefully we come out on top.
Well, thank you, David. For Cal, David Morley, I'm Joe. Back up to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Joe, Cal, and David. As you can see, David Morley has success putting the puck away down by the crease. David and the rest of the Huskies are excited for conference play to finally start this weekend.
Yeah, well, aren't well, and especially with the first conference game coming up against Miami this weekend, the Huskies are looking to be great contenders for top 5 in the NCHC preseason polls.
Yeah, Sam, it looks like the Huskies are ranked at 6 right now, but with a little bit of effort, I think they should be able to pull off a spot in the top 3.
I completely agree, but you can't overlook this conference. Last season, 6 of the 8 NCHC teams made the NCAA tournament, and 2 of them finished in the Frozen Four.
I'm looking forward to some good competitive conference hockey this winter.
Yeah, me too again, and things are really starting to heat up on the ice now as the men's hockey team returns home this weekend to open up NCHC play against Miami. Puck drop is set for Friday at 7:37 p.m. and HP will have coverage beginning at 7 p.m. with the Husky Faceoff pregame show.
The Huskies are familiar with North Dakota being a worthy rival. For the past 5 years, the Huskies have not won a single game against UND since 2009-2010 season. But this year, the Huskies had something different to show.
Yeah, the Ladies Huskies were unable to walk away with a W on Friday, but they did put up quite a fight. North Dakota posted 3 points, but Katie Fitzgerald was able to stop 33 shot attempts for the Huskies. Paige Pena was tenacious, along with Vanessa Spataro, who both posted 2 shots each in Friday's matchup. With a disappointing game on Friday, the Huskies were keeping their heads high and brushing out the loss going into Saturday's game.
SCSU women's hockey was also in action this past weekend on Saturday as they hosted the University of North Dakota. Huskies looking to pick up their first win of the season, coming off a loss on Friday. Starting off in the first period, senior assistant captain Molly Illikainen puts the Huskies up a goal. Heading into the second is all Illikainen again, this time assisted by Pena, and the Huskies now lead by 2. The Huskies continue to fight to extend the lead, and Illikainen comes in again with the 3rd goal of the game to start off the 3rd period, giving her the first hat trick of her season. Teammate Hannah Patrikis follows Illikainen's lead as she nets one in to give the Huskies a 4-1 lead. But UND doesn't back down yet. With less than 8 minutes left in the game, UND pulls their goalie, giving their forefront set some extra scorers to give them a chance to win. Can they do it? Late in the 3rd, UND pulls off 3 straight goals to tie the game. Now heading into a shootout, it's Pena bearing it on the backhand to give the Huskies a shootout win. Senior forward Molly Illikainen was on fire this weekend, finding the back of the net in every period and finishing with her first career hat trick. Illikainen earned her 2nd WCHA-CO Offense Player of the Week award.
Honestly, it's just really nice to be recognized as our team is working hard and stuff, so it's just kind of nice to feel that, they're still out there, but we're working as a team. Everything about us is team. So we should have gotten team award this week, but just, excited for what's to come, and hopefully this just brings recognition that our team is working hard and that we can bring it to the future.
Well, the Huskies look to build off this win as they head north this weekend to take on the 6th-ranked Bemidji State Beavers on Friday. The 6-2-2 on the young season with 3 conference wins and 2 losses after getting swept by Wisconsin last weekend. So, as you can see, SDSU is coming into this game hoping to bring a little bit of confidence from last weekend, while the Beavers are trying not to have a repeat of their performance from last weekend. This should be a good conference series for the Huskies.
I agree, and frozen water is nice and all, Bobby, but what about those who prefer liquid water?
I heard the swim team prefers liquid water, Sam. We'll be right back to give you a preview of the swim team and see what the basketball team is up to right after this.
The men's and women's swim and dive team have been making quite a splash in the past few meets with multiple victories in various races across the board. And the Huskies took on the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire and the University of Wisconsin Stevens Point on Saturday the 24th in a freestyle battle for the podium.
They couldn't have started any better for the women's team as they earned first place in the 200-yard medley relay. The men, not wanting to be outdone, also won the same event that evening. Jack Spaeth put his best hand forward, winning the 100-yard breaststroke for the Huskies. Andrea Bryson kept the Huskies in the winner's circle as she won the freestyle with a time of 1 minute 52 seconds. Tristan Ferguson won the same event for the men's team.
To complete the day of events at the Aquatic Center, both the men and the women took the title for the 400-yard freestyle relay. The women came in with a time of 3 minutes and 40 seconds, while the men raced away with a time of 3 minutes and 12 seconds. The St. Cloud State men's team posted a total of 385 points for the weekend, while the women scored a total of 390 points to take the sweep in the dual meet against UW. So we're here with Madison Golden. Thank you so much for joining us. And Madison, overall, how did the Huskies perform against UW, Eau Claire, and Stevens Point this weekend?
The Huskies performed exceptionally well this weekend. There was strong swims across the board, especially in the 400-meter freestyle relay as well as the 200 medley relay. Men and women took first across the board, so it was an awesome weekend for the Husky swim team.
Looking overall for the whole weekend, who really stood out, on both the men's and women's team?
For women's, it was definitely Andrea Bryson. She had a solid meet. The entire meet was awesome for her. She's a really strong kicker, and she won both the 500 freestyle as well as the 100 butterfly. Only a sophomore, so we can look forward to seeing a lot more from her. And for men's, we have Justin Winnett, also a very strong sprinter. He won the 100-meter breaststroke as well as the 50 freestyle. And he's only a sophomore too, so we just have a couple great sophomores to keep watching over the next few years.
That is crazy that they're only sophomores.
It's awesome.
What is something else that the team is looking forward to this season?
Coming up, there is a meet on November 6th and 7th against the University of Wisconsin Green Bay, and then on November 20th, there is a swim meet against the University of South Dakota. Both should be pretty even matchups, so we're looking forward to seeing how they do.
Madison, thank you so much for filling us on some swim information.
Thank you for having me.
Well, in a scoreless first half of the women's soccer game on Friday against Concordia, the second half would be a battle. The Concordia Golden Bears scored first 8 minutes into the second half with a goal by Jessica Bianchi on a penalty kick. 1-0 Concordia. The Huskies wouldn't have that and answered 5 minutes later with a right-footed 15-yard shot by Naomi Kohlhoff, who was assisted by Michelle Cornell, which tied the game at 1-1. The Bears and the Huskies would be in a stalemate in the rest of the game, and the final score would end up being 1-1. SCSU outshot CSP by a minimal margin of 16-15, with both teams posting 7 shots on net. Ladies Huskies goalie Brittany Plombun stopped 6 shot attempts, as well as Concordia goalie Emma Gardner, who also prevented 6 goals. The Ladies Huskies struck first in their most recent match against Mankato on Sunday on the 25th, with a goal by the one and only Maria Cass, who ripped the ball in the 18th minute and sank it into the back of the net. The Mavericks would not allow that and evened the odds with a 30th minute goal from Corey Cronfirst. The Huskies retaliated to keep their lead in the 58th minute with a goal by Sarah Benhart, and with a last-ditch attempt in the 69th minute, MSU Mankato player Julia Zach was able to sneak in a goal to tie up the game. And MSU wouldn't stop there, and Corey Cronforst finished the goal with her second goal and ended the score at Mankato 3 and Huskies 2. And all those ladies Huskies goals don't come from nowhere, but the vast majority come from the freshman phenom forward from Pewaukee, Wisconsin, Maria Cass, who has had 2 goals in her past 3 games, along with a 65% shots on goal average and 72 minutes per game. The ladies Huskies only have 2 more games before their NSIC championships, and 1 game against Bemidji State and another against University of Minnesota Crookston. In a fight against the number 4 Concordia St. Paul, the Concordia Golden Bears defended their spot and took down the Huskies in 3 straight sets with game scores of 9-25, 19-25, and 18-25. St. Cloud's record is now at 8-13 overall with an NSIC standing of 4-9. Concordia advances their ranking in the NSIC 11-2 and 17-4 overall. The competition didn't stop there for the Huskies as they had a second matchup against Mankato on the 24th. The Mavericks took all 3 sets with game scores of 23-25, 17-25, and 20-25. It was a close 2 games, but the Huskies couldn't walk away with a W, and they lose 3-0 in both matchups. The next Huskies contest is slated to be against Upper Iowa University.
While the NSI preseason rankings were released, the Huskies were preseason ranked 5th, while Winona was ranked 1st and Wayne State 2nd. We had our first snowfall on campus on Wednesday, and when the snow is falling, that means basketball season must be right around the corner. Head coach Lori Fish is looking forward to another great basketball season.
Last year was a season in the record books for the women's Husky basketball team. But this year, they look to change it all.
I'm just really looking forward to all of us sticking together as like a unified front on the court.
With strong returning leaders, well as new additions to the team. The women Huskies are ready to take it to a whole new level.
We have a lot of threats coming back this season, which is awesome.
We have a lot of excitement. We have a lot of potential, but now we got to go out and we got to get it done.
Being recently picked as the top team by coaches in the NSIC.
For us, it's really going in there and learning. We want to figure out like what our rotations are, who kind of plays well together. It's going to be great to run our offense against a different defense.
The women Huskies are going into their season with lots of intensity.
Really working hard and just getting after it.
We have a lot of excitement. We have a lot of potential, but now we got to go out and we got to get it done.
This is a year for the women Huskies.
We really need to go in thinking that we're a great team and knowing it and playing like it.
Well, the women's basketball team looks forward to opening up their season on Thursday at South Dakota State, where they will take on the Jackrabbits.
Yeah, and coming up after the break, we will find out who the Mag Person of the Week is and who made Blizzard's best. Keep it right here on Husky Mag. Few have received this honor, but I am proud to announce that women's Husky hockey player Molly Ilakainen has joined the few in Husky Mag's Player of the Week.
She definitely earned it after finding the net in every period as she earned a hat trick and a W against the University of North Dakota on Saturday.
I completely agree, and I think I speak for all when I say that she definitely deserves this. And checking out Blizzard's best.
Coming in at number 3, Paige Pena with the shootout goal.
And coming in hot at number 2, Judd Peterson with the short-handed goal. Sauces it right through Michael Gartig's net.
And who else at number 1? Molly Ilakainen with the hat trick.
Can't forget about that one, and that was definitely a groundbreaker for this weekend's hockey. Thank you so much for joining us this week on the 4th edition of Husky Mag.
We'll see you next week.